I'm Ann Buchanan, and I'm the mother of Jason Reinhardt. And Jason was the oldest of 3 boys. When Jason was in school, he never did anything with alcohol until he was a senior in high school. There wasn't a party for graduation that he went to that had alcohol. Other than that, he didn't get involved at all until he went off to college. And he joined a fraternity right away and started drinking at the parties on the weekends. But he always seemed to monitor how much he drank, how he drank it, things that he did to allow him to drink more, such as eating carbs and those types of things. So he was, even when he started drinking, even though it was illegal, he was drinking carefully. He knew what his limits were. Jason came home the night before his 21st birthday and had supper with us. We had his favorite dinner, which was seafood fettuccine and garlic bread. And so he was ready to go out and party. And I later found out that after he left my house, well, when he was home, we talked. We talked about his power hour, what not to do. And he said, "Don't worry, Mom. I won't let nothing will happen to me. My friends will watch out for me." And he says, "I love you." And he gave me a kiss and a hug. And that was the last time I saw him. And from what I've heard from friends and police reports, Jason went home to his fraternity house, took a nap before midnight, got ready, joined his friends at the bar at midnight, and proceeded to attempt to drink 21 shots in 1 hour time frame. He was only able to consume 16. He felt bad because other people, other friends were able to consume 21 shots, and they were smaller than him, and they did just fine. And they left the bar. He went back to the fraternity house. He didn't have anything to drink before he went to the bar. He didn't have anything to drink after the bar. He played with the dog, went to bed about 2, and friends of his tried to wake him up at about 4, see how he was doing. He said, "I'm fine, leave me alone." They gave him a bucket, and nobody checked back on him until it was after noon, early afternoon. Somebody did get up to go to work, and they looked in on him and thought it would be fun to take a picture, but nobody checked to see if he was alive. And from all the reports, it sounds like he was probably dead at that time. They tried to wake him up to go out for lunch on his 21st birthday. He didn't wake up. They called 911. They came, and he was dead. He had been dead for a while. His skin was already bluish in color. Rigor mortis had started to set in. The stench of decay was already in the room. And I got the phone call about 10 to 2 that afternoon, and they told me that he had been found dead and died from alcohol poisoning. If Jason had been living at home and he had come home after he'd been to the bar, I probably would have put Jason to bed with a bucket, just like the boys did, and let him sleep it off, not realizing what alcohol poisoning is, not realizing exactly how much he had to drink. Jason probably would have died in my own home because I was not educated in what alcohol poisoning is. What I didn't know was binge drinking, and binge drinking for men is 5 drinks or more in one sitting and 4 for a woman in one sitting. And I didn't realize that after you cross that line of drinking 4 or 5 drinks in a sitting, your body doesn't have a way of getting rid of that alcohol, and it starts slowing down your system. And some of the warning signs for alcohol poisoning is if somebody passes out, you can't wake them up. Don't let them sleep it off. You need to call 911. If their skin is kind of bluish in color or pale, or if they're cold and clammy, those are other symptoms. Shallow breathing. If they have shallow breathing, definitely call 911. And the last symptom is if their pulse is irregular or very slow. please call 911 when you see those symptoms. Get them to the hospital. You might be able to save them. And for Jason, his system just slowly shut down while he was sleeping. His breathing became irregular. His heartbeat became slow, and he just slowly died in his sleep. I've gone to high schools and colleges and Rotary, PTA groups. I've done interviews for TV and magazines and trying to make the public aware of how dangerous alcohol is. I've gone to the legislature and have changed power hours so that North Dakota, Minnesota, a 21-year-old cannot get into any liquor establishment until 8 a.m. on their birthday. So I've done a lot to try and change things so that other families don't have to suffer what we suffered. If I can just touch one person and my story changes the way they see alcohol, then Jason's death was not in vain.